Well, India and Pakistan have been drawn into the same group for the Asia Cup 2025. They are going to face each other thrice if both the teams reach the finals. This tournament will be held in UAE this year. Now, as India gears up to face Pakistan 3 times in this particular tournament, there are fresh calls that are emerging to boycott the matches, citing recent terror attacks in Pahalgam and Operation Sindoor. Now, with Mohsin Naqvi, the ACC chairman, pushing for the marquee clashes, questions are rising. Is patriotism being monetized through high-stakes India-Pakistan games? Should the BCCI take a stand? Can cricket continue while the nation bleeds? There are a lot of big questions and we'll go through all of them. Question number 1. Should India-Pakistan have cricketing ties at all? Is it fair to hold India-Pakistan tournament amid Operation Sindoor? This decision, is it in national interest or mere financial gain? And India's stand against Pakistan, is it only at war and not on cricket ground? And finally, will India and Pakistan cricket clash meddle with India's anti-terror message? There are a lot of questions. We'll try and make a sense of a lot of those. In fact, I'm currently joined by my guests, Rakesh Rao and Akash Das Gupta, senior sports journalist. I also have NDTV's own Rika Roy joining us here in the studio. Rika, first of all, your thoughts. What do you make of this announcement? And more importantly, how do you see this panning out in the future now?
It's a pragmatic decision on the part of BCCI to go ahead with this India-Pakistan fixture. Remember, one India-Pakistan fixture just got cancelled because the players didn't want to. The players didn't want to play, but that was really not a call of the BCCI. It was the call of the respective players, which is why the India-Pakistan match in the Legends League got called off. But regarding this tie, you know, there, as you rightly mentioned, there is commercial interest. Also, Osama, the big question is Russia and Ukraine are at war. Is Russia, Ukraine stopping sporting relation? Can they be stopped from clashing against each other in multilateral tournament? The answer is no. And the same should ideally hold for India and Pakistan. I think the time has come for matured sports-loving people to understand that sports and politics should be divorced from each other. If not, then, Osama, we can't even play the Olympic Games, you know. 2028, we have to be clashing against Pakistan in the Olympic Games and many other tournaments before. There is you mentioned about 3 India-Pakistan, possibly the 3rd if India reaches the final. I'll have to tell our viewers there's a 4th, because India-Pakistan women's match is on 5th of October, which is the 4th Sunday, Sunday or Saturday. So it's a weekend though. So there are going to be 4 India-Pakistan matches, possibly if India, India-Pakistan reach the final of the Asia Cup.
You know, it's a great point that you have made, especially about when you talk about countries who are at conflict and what happens to them when they go out and compete in international tournaments like the Olympics, etc. Rakesh Rao, I want to take that question to you as well. Olympics, it is different, but do you think that can be said about cricket as well, where things are completely different? There are a very few number of countries that are clashing, that are playing cricket against each other, and especially when the BCCI, India, in that particular case, being the strongest member, who can dictate terms in that particular sense. Do you see that happening, or do you agree with that argument that Rika has mentioned here?
No, I don't agree with that at all. I feel that, India is not a sports-loving country, it's a cricket-loving country. So when you look at it from that point of view, India playing Pakistan in cricket is very different than India facing, or Indian hockey players facing Pakistan in an Olympic game or anywhere else. So let's get this very clear. Let me make my point very clear here. Given the kind of situation that we are in 2025 July, and the tournament is slated to take place in September, which is like just a month, just over a month from now, maybe exactly 2 months from now, we are going to have the big match if it goes as per schedule. I'm saying we have forgotten a lot of things that has happened this year itself. Saying that cricket and politics should not be mixed, it's a ridiculous argument because we cannot separate these two. I mean, it is like saying that, let's forget everything. Let's have cricket first. Cricket and cricketers should not suffer no matter what the geopolitical situation is. Again, another ridiculous argument. I've never backed that. And let me also tell you this, that, I mean, it's my personal view that India and Pakistan, given the kind of hostilities that exist, we cannot look the other way. We should not have any cricketing ties. I mean, forget anything, any sporting ties, any ties whatsoever till the situation is normal between the two countries. Normal, I mean, no more killings from across the border. I'm very clear about this, and I am saying this as an Indian, not as a sports journalist or somebody, or as someone who has spent close to 40 years as a sports journalist. I'm saying when we have killings taking place, bloodshed taking place, for us to say we have to take a mature decision and look beyond all this and let cricket happen. My left foot, I don't care a damn, and I'm very clear about this. Let me be, I mean, I'm not mixing any words here.
How do we go about this?
Maybe I'm getting just one second, let me just wrap this up. I'm saying that we cannot forget that we are paying a heavy cost for it. It is not like cricket should sustain just because the ACC has an agreement with the broadcasters that we are going to play n number of matches with Pakistan. That is very small when it comes to two nations. It has nothing to do with you keeping that commitment because of commercial compulsions. I'm saying look beyond that. If India says we are not going to take part in the Asia Cup, who stops India from taking that stand?
Okay.
When the government of India says nothing doing, we're playing. If the government has given its connivance, not an express consent as of now, because we haven't heard from the government, we haven't heard from the BCCI per se. It is just that the ACC has made an announcement. Obviously, it has something to go by. But let's also hear from the Indian side of it. So it's more than 24 hours.
We'll wait for that announcement. We'll wait for that reaction as well from the government, because it is important how the government reacts, how the BCCI reacts. Akash, the same question I want to understand from you. Is it time for India to reassess its cricket ties with Pakistan? There has been Pahalgam terror attack, the ongoing security concerns. How do you assess this situation?
Well, first up, before I tell you exactly what I feel about this, a couple of things that I wanted to put on the table here, which are just mere facts. These are not my sentiments. These are just mere facts. A few days back, we heard the sports minister himself go on the record to say that we have absolutely no problems in playing any sporting ties with Pakistan as long as they are not bilateral sporting ties. So we are not going to be playing any bilateral series. We won't see any India versus Pakistan series happening, which anyways we are not playing. But we will continue to maintain sporting ties with Pakistan. That's fact number one. Fact number two, you have to also understand that this entire Asia Cup scheduling and where it's going to be played and who's going to play it cannot be seen in isolation. We have to see it as a part of the larger picture. And the larger picture is what are the other tournaments that India are going to be hosting on Indian soil, which Pakistan are going to be participating in, or at least they are likely to participate in. And they are going to be the Asia Cup in hockey. That's going to be the FIH Men's Junior Hockey World Cup. There's also a shooting event, and Pakistan is likely to send athletes for these. In fact, the sports minister has also gone on record to say that the government will in fact issue visas for the Pakistani athletes to come to India and play these tournaments. Now it is entirely up to the Pakistani government whether they want to send a contingent to India or not. That's fact number two. And fact number three, we have to also understand that there is something called the Olympic Charter. Now, what happens is if you stop countries from coming to into your country and playing on your soil on political grounds, then you could be blacklisted from hosting future events. Right now, India at this point in time, it's an open secret that they are trying to push to get the hosting rights for the 2036 Olympics. According to certain reports, they're also trying to get the 2030 Commonwealth Games, which will be the second time they'll host it since the 2010 Games in Delhi. So at a time when India is trying to push for these things, optics also matter. Now, again, these are just facts that I'm stating. So, at a time when the ACC has come out and said that this is confirmed that the tournament will be played in the UAE. The venues, mind you, have not been announced, but we are hearing that it's going to be Dubai and Abu Dhabi. So these are the two venues that they're going to be playing the matches at, and that India and Pakistan matches definitely is going ahead. The first one, which is the group game, because they're in the same group, it's going ahead. So the ACC has made that announcement. The ACC could not have made that announcement if they had not got the green signal from the Indian side as well. It's very, very clear that the Indian side has also given the green signal for that. Otherwise, I do not see Mr. Naqvi going on record on social media and announcing this, even though he is the ACC head. He's also, remember, very, very importantly, he's part of the PCB, he heads the PCB, and he's also the interior minister of Pakistan. So he knows the politics on that side of the border as well. And there is also that resolution that was signed and agreed upon by India, by Pakistan, by the ICC when that entire impasse was happening about the Champions Trophy earlier this year, where they had agreed that for the next 3-year cycle, every single time that one of these two countries is given the hosting rights for a cricketing tournament, then their match between the two of them will be played in a neutral venue. Now, the fact that this entire Asia Cup is going to be played in the UAE is clearly based on logistical grounds. Clearly, it's obviously easier for everybody concerned to be based out of one place than keep shuttling between, two countries and, 2-3 different venues. So keeping that in mind, this decision obviously has been taken to hold the entire tournament in the UAE. These again are just facts that I'm stating, but like I mentioned, I don't see this decision, if there's any possibility that this decision could have been taken without both governments having given their say-so.
And Osama, just to add to what Akash said, the reason it could not have been taken without BCCI's approval is BCCI are the hosts of the Asia Cup. And with the hosts having given the green signal, BCCI are the hosts, with the hosts having given the green signal, ACC has taken matters ahead and they are hosting the tournament UAE. Rakesh, I have a question for you, which is how do you see the sports minister saying that, his ministry, and it's not just about his ministry, but the home ministry doesn't have a problem in India meeting Pakistan in multilateral tournaments, but not playing bilateral. How do you react to that?
Rika, I'll be very honest, I was appalled. I was seriously, I was thinking what has happened. We are looking at today as though Pahalgam never took place. Operation Sindoor never took place. Lives were not lost. Everything seems to be normal. It's like business like usual. What happened at the end of the Champions Trophy, it was like a continuation of that. Okay, everything is fine. We can, because we have made a commitment, we'll continue to play. That was all fine. But I'm saying, why are we not even looking at the change scenario? Are you trying to tell me, or the government of India or the Minister of Sports is telling this country that, look, we have no problems. We can continue to have, tournaments where India, Pakistan and other nations are taking place. No bilateral, ties in any sport. Now here, because it's cricket, we are talking about it. If Indian table tennis team was to play against Pakistan, nobody would have even made a mention of it. We are talking about this on prime time because it's cricket. So I'm drawing the line here. I'm saying let India play anywhere. Nobody gives a damn. Even a casual sports follower will not question it. Hockey, in fact, hockey is the second most loved sport in this country as of today because of the emotions involved for so many years. I'm saying still Indians will probably ask questions, but no other sport comes anywhere close to this. Coming back to cricket, my question is, if the minister or the government stand today is that it's okay to play Pakistan in a country, anything that is not bilateral. It can be 3-nation, 4-nation, or a continental championship, or a World Cup, or a World Championship. We have no problems. I am surprised that they have not taken cognizance of what has happened and they have ignored public sentiments completely. Now, I'm really surprised. I still want to hear from the minister about this particular thing about Rajiv Shukla attending that and not uttering a word after that. Why is he silent? I mean, my question is, more than 24 hours have passed. The board is still silent.
I don't think the board is silent. It is because the board has been a part of the meeting, and they have.
Well, they haven't publicly come out and said anything about this schedule.
They have let ACC do all the press releases, yes.
But India is the host, Rika. India is the host. Let's not forget, India is a member of the ACC. We are no longer in a position to issue statements on behalf of ACC.
Well, Rakesh, to be honest with you, the first communication that I am expecting from BCCI is the link for the accreditation, and not really anything before that.
There is,
we have spent enough number of years in this business to know
Rakesh
how
Rao,
BCCI operates.
There is obviously there is also this big point about how patriotism is being monetized, and this has been happening over the period of time, and this repeated emphasis on India-Pakistan matches, and especially in high-stakes tournaments. Akash, do you feel this is a form of monetizing patriotism?
No, I don't think so at all. Because see, at the end of the day, I understand that there are certain things which are sacrosanct. Public sentiment, like Mr. Rao mentioned, being one of them, definitely. But at the end of the day, to say that they are monetizing something on the back of patriotism, that is a very serious charge to level against anybody. At the end of the day, we should not forget that these are sporting bodies who are doing their jobs, who are going ahead with the schedule that has been put in front of them. Some might ask why these dates were selected, in particular, the 9th to the 28th of September and not any other dates. Well, that's very clear. It's because from, I think, the first week of October, India start playing the test series against West Indies. So this is the only window that they had. So they had to play the Asia Cup in this window. And like I mentioned earlier, logistically, it made a lot more sense to hold the whole thing in the UAE than hold just India-Pakistan matches in the UAE and the rest of it in India. That is one. Number two, when it comes to something like this, when it's a sporting event, you have to understand this. Again, this is not a bilateral event. It is a multilateral event. There are more than just two teams and two countries and two boards who are involved. There are more than just players who are involved. It's an entire economy. And I'm not saying that money is the primary factor here, but there is an entire machinery that's in place that has to keep running. There are people who are dependent on these live matches going on for their daily existence. There are freelancers out there on the field who are working as camera people, as producers, as location producers, who depend on these tournaments to go ahead. There are lots of them who don't work for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months in a stretch because they know that this one big tournament is coming up and they are going to get employment for like a month straight, or at least half a month or a month and a half sometimes straight. So these things also have to be understood. They also have to be taken into account. And like I mentioned earlier, you have to understand that to take a decision where you say that we are not going to play a certain country, then you have to stick to that decision. My point is that you cannot on one day say that we are not going to play party A or party B, and on the next day you say, okay, we'll play them here, but we won't play them there. I think it creates a lot of confusion as well. And like Mr. Rao said, it can also irk the public, and the public sentiment, can of course simmer over, because what are you doing? I mean, you just had this major operation against a country, and now you're going and playing cricket with them. I completely understand that sentiment, because you turn on your TV set, and there was a time when people looked forward to India-Pakistan matches. That's the reason why India-Pakistan matches are still the marquee clashes in all cricketing tournaments. Whether it's the Asia Cup, the Champions Trophy, the World Cup, they are the marquee tournaments with the highest, most expensive tickets. But things have changed now. Public sentiment has changed now. When the Indian, it is not a secret at all that when an Indian cricket lover switches on the TV these days, a lot of them, when they see Pakistan on the screen, don't have really the same sentiments which they had when India and Pakistan played against each other in, say, the 1970s, 80s, or even the 90s, or even the early 2000s. Yeah. The sentiments have changed, and that too has to be taken into account. But for that to happen, there has to be a blanket rule. But like I mentioned earlier, sometimes sporting bodies also have their hands tied, because if you say that we are not going to allow Pakistani cricketers to enter India, or we are not going to play any cricket against them, or we are not going to allow them to play the Asia Cup, then there is a chance that you might be blacklisted, because the world, the fraternity, the sporting, global sporting fraternity is also watching.
Having said that, very quickly, Rika, what do you think is the government's stance here at the moment, and especially when you talk about these times and the sentiments running really high? What do you think is...
So there is a bigger picture playing out. Osama, the government is really, really keen on getting Olympic 2036. And for that, they have to abide by the Olympic Charter. And the Olympic Charter means no government interference in sporting relations. They have to allow sporting relations to exist. They will have to allow that countries that they are not very friendly with also come to India, play not just cricket, all other sport, to be seen favorably in the eyes of IOC. So that's the bigger picture that is playing out on the government level right now, which is why unless there is a situation where there's huge public sentiment against India taking on Pakistan, at this moment, government will not say no. Also, next year, India and Sri Lanka hosts the T20 World Cup.
Yeah, that is also true.
That's a joint host. India and Sri Lanka will be joined.
All right, Rika Roy, Akash Das Gupta, and Rakesh Rao, thank you very much for being a part of this discussion.